Hi everyone, welcome to TGIF, another Friday, another episode. Week on week, we are focused on technical capsule on some of the technologies and innovations in the industry. We'll continue to do that, we'll not stop that, but we'll also take a shift in terms of bringing in some of the SMEs in the industry, leaders specifically, who can give us their perspective in terms of technology leadership, right? Today, I'm pleased to welcome Saujanya Shetty, my ex-colleague and a good friend, and she started a new journey. She did a reboot herself as a leader, and Attitude Makeover is what started recently, and she is the founder and chief reboot officer. First of all, welcome to TGIF.
Thank you,
It's
sir.
a pleasure seeing you and hosting you today. So, quick question to Saujanya. Now, you went through a reboot yourself, right? As a leader, you're very successful in the industry, and you said, you know what? Let me reimagine my journey from here on. So, and you're here in terms of having your own Attitude Makeover show, and you have a series coming on that front. So, help us understand, what was that journey from the time you decided, you know what, I'm going to reboot till this point in time.
I think it's been a roller coaster journey. I won't say it's all nice and up and
Right.
sunny. It's a startup, it's an entrepreneur's journey, but it's been a fun journey of rediscovering myself. Reboot is all about rediscovering yourself, right?
Right.
So it started with really understanding who am I, what am I, because before that, for 25 years, whenever I had to introduce myself, I'm Saujanya.
Yeah.
This is my role, this
Right.
is my profile, this is my company.
Right.
So it sort of defined who I am. And suddenly you step out of that world to be able to describe who Saujanya is
Right.
without those riffraffs was like the first eye-opening exercise for me.
Awesome. That's so cool. In fact, I've been on a show, so I recall that it was no script, but it is you just took us on a journey. So it's a skill. So honestly, congratulations on your show.
Thank you.
Today, I want to talk to you about. By the way, in your show, you've hosted quite a few chief technologists,
Yes.
right, across industries, be it healthcare, industry, food tech, etc. And of course, I'd love to talk to people like that. But I thought, since you've spoken to 15, 20 of them, you probably would have observed in terms of, yes, they are leaders, very successful, but what are some of the common traits that they possess as individuals? So my question to you is, for aspiring chief technologists, a lot of us want to traverse that path. What are some of the common themes you've seen or common traits you've observed in these people?
I think for me, the first eye-opening aha moment was when I started. I'm a person who looks at patterns,
Yeah.
and I've done 56
Episodes.
episodes so
Yeah.
far. One thing that stood out is pretty much all of them. You first have to be a leader for yourself.
Got it.
Nobody talks about this. How do you be a leader for yourself? Because when you become a leader for yourself, then leading others becomes like a natural, trait of yours.
Right.
But that's a very difficult one, and I noticed this to be very common in almost all my guests.
Okay.
Whether it's the creators, the passion economy guys, or the technologists or the gig economy folks who are
Right.
coming in my podcast.
Right.
There's one common thing, which is the clarity of who am I, what is it that I bring as value to a
Right.
system,
Right.
and am I a natural leader? Am I a leader for myself?
Got
first?
it. Got it.
I think once you've gone past that,
Yeah, okay.
then what I've seen is having a perspective of the big picture. Let's say I'm in the banking sector.
Right.
The whole notion of money and currency is changing today.
Of course,
right?
yeah.
When you look at the mega transformations or the big
Right.
transformations that are happening,
Right.
how does that apply to an India context then? And then comes the technology of what really plays here.
Got
But
it.
having an understanding of big picture perspective,
Okay.
and having thereby a perspective for yourself on what's really happening. So you're not just following blindly trends,
Got it.
but you have an opinion and a point of view, and you have the natural leadership traits of you being a leader for yourself, and then creating that safe space
Got it.
for your organization or your team
Right.
is very important.
Yeah.
I've seen that as a very common thread with most of my guests, with almost all my guests,
Right.
whether it is a judge or
Yeah.
the CTO of ID Foods
Right.
or Sayan, who is the CEO of Math.
Right. Wow.
Across all of them, it's been a very common trait I've seen
Wonderful.
across.
Very interesting, Saujanya. So one is, of course, having your own perspective. You can probably bucket that as generalist knowledge
Yeah.
while it's there, but what is your opinion or a point of
Yes,
view?
yes.
That defines who you are when you approach anything in your work, right? And second interesting one, safe place, right? And as a leader, I think those are the traits that would probably attract people towards you, and that's also a great way to demonstrate what you're capable of as you go along. Wonderful. So that's great. So now imagine those are the traits that one would probably, you can't inculcate overnight. It's a journey as a leader. One has to traverse that path. But once you get there, it's also about how do you sustain, right? Because you earlier said consistency. But for a leader, is consistency or anything else for that matter important that stage? Because end of the day, you're reached a stage, but it's no going back.
Yeah.
You have to kind of climb up.
Yeah.
Not in terms of money or anything else. It's a question of your in your own mind in the growth aspect, right? So any thoughts on that?
So I'll take you back to my HP days as a product manager.
Right.
We used to work on printers. There used to be bugs, right?
Right.
Any engineer would know
Yeah, of course.
the trauma of
Yeah,
bugs.
yeah.
So it's very easy to clean up bugs and bring it to 90% quality. But
Yeah.
taking it from 90 to that 99, which
Of
is
course.
the Six Sigma model,
Yeah.
is not an easy task.
Of course.
It requires you to think very differently. It
Right.
requires different calibers to come together.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's this concept of really, that's where how do you build that
Right.
lateral thinking model, right?
Right.
I think for me, a big pivotal point in that journey has been understanding the lean canvas.
Okay.
And that's been a big tool or methodology. You always have tools and methodologies in
Right,
your kitty
right, right.
to sort of keep this consistency
Wow.
and to test them, right? So for me, lean canvas has been one of that sort of tool.
Okay.
Any role that you take, after a point, it's about, if you have to take it from 90 to 99%,
Absolutely, yeah.
it's about then stepping back and really having a holistic perspective. Who are my customers?
Right.
What is your customer journey?
Right.
Who are the actual users? Who are the buyers? What kind of partnerships do I need?
Right.
Thereby, then, can I collaborate? Can I network there?
Correct.
Can I mentor? Can I
Yeah.
be mentored? What are my value propositions in my product, as well as what are competition doing? How do I? And I'll give you an example. I had
Right.
a boss called Ajay Gupta.
Right.
So one day he came with, we all as product managers would have these constraints of resources, time, and money, right?
Right, yeah.
And he said, assume I've doubled the constraints for you,
Wow.
but I want this as an outcome. Go
Yeah.
figure out and come back.
Yeah.
You see, when you're in adversity,
course.
as human nature, we know how to survive. I think that really opened the mind space for how to think completely out of the box, to take something from a 90% to a 99% or a moonshot concept of
Right.
10x growth.
Right.
And I think anybody who's heading in that technology role or any leadership role, it's very important to have this fundamental
Very
philosophy of
interesting. Yeah.
the adversity situation, a
No.
natural way of growth.
This is a very profound thought, Arjun. When you bring in constraints, you figure your way out. I'm sure that has happened to us many times, and probably it happens all the time. And when somebody says, "Hey, this person did this," and if you look back on the journey, yes, outside of the comfort zone, because of the constraint, this person took a different stance towards solving the same problem. Of course, earlier you said the generalist knowledge is so critical. You have a point of view and perspective. I think that will help you navigate the last 10 or
Yes.
last 9.
Yes.
And collaboration, you brought a right point. You can't force collaboration.
Yeah.
It has to be organic.
Yes.
And when constraints come your way, I'm sure each of us have done that, wherein we figured out probably I never spoke to this person to get things done, but because of the situation, I've approached in a way which probably is very meaningful for the other person also.
Yeah.
Right?
So one important thing that I learned very early on, I was very fortunate to work in an environment which practiced servant leadership
Okay.
heavily, right? And I'm a big follower of servant leadership. you have to get your hands dirty.
Absolutely. Okay,
As a
important one.
leader as well, you
Yeah.
have to walk the talk. If I'm telling someone think out of the box, it's also there are if you're looking at 10 eyes, there are
Right.
20 eyes looking back at you, right? So
bet,
you
yeah.
have to walk the talk as much as it's not just advice and strategy. It's about really taking the plunge, being with the team, experimenting,
Right.
standing up for them. You know, it's not an easy journey when you step out of your comfort zone till you come to that growth zone.
Right, right.
And when you're thinking a moonshot, which is what 90 to 99% is,
Right.
it's not as simple as everything's going to be hunky-dory.
Agree,
So you
agree.
have to take the plunge, you have to get your hands dirty, and you should stand up for the team as well.
Very, absolutely. I think servant leadership is what we've heard. A quality or a trait to inculcate
Yeah.
as a leader.
Yeah, yeah.
Wonderful. Saujanya, this is fantastic. Honestly, thank you so much
Thank
for your
you.
time today.
Thank you so much.
And in summary, I think we spoke about, yes, as a leader, somebody aspired to become a chief technologist. Having generalist knowledge is critical. Of course, specialism matters to get there. And once you get there, the next leap is a big one. That's where I think operating with constraints, you probably get creative at that point in time, collaborating, which has to be organic. And finally, it's about servant leadership mentioned. I think all these traits will help that person to stand out and also meaningfully move forward with a purpose,
Yes.
right? Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today. And for all viewers, thanks for watching TGIF. Keep watching TGIF. Have a wonderful Friday and a great weekend ahead. Bye-bye.